What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another one. If you're new to the channel, I am Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we're in the brand new 2025 Volvo XC40, courtesy of Younger Volvo in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So we are in this one today because there are plenty of changes for the 2025 model year. Not only that, this one is an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus, which is the very highest designation given by IIHS, and this is luxury from Sweden, which for us here in the US is kind of rare and kind of cool. So ultimately in this video we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and jump right into it, and as always, let's start with pricing. So there are going to be a few different trim levels for the 2025 XC40 and slightly different from the 2024 model year. So you got the core starting at $41,945 plus, which is the one we are in today, starting at $46,795, and lastly Ultra starting at $50,595. And yes, if that sounds new, that's because it is. The Ultra trim is replacing the Ultimate trim for 2025. But regardless of trim level that you go with, the power plant on the XC40 is going to be the same. Powering the little beast is a 2-liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder with a mild hybrid system, putting out 247 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. That power being sent to all 4 wheels through an 8-speed automatic. 0 to 60 time is going to come in at approximately 6.1 seconds. Top speed 112 miles per hour if you were interested, with MPG numbers coming in at 23 in the city, 30 on the highway, taking premium unleaded fuel. And so before we do any kind of fun acceleration test here in the XC40, did want to mention to you guys there's a couple different drive modes, and so all of the drive modes are accessed through this 9-inch infotainment screen. We'll get more into that later in the video, but there's essentially 2 different drive modes. There's an off-road mode, and then there's a steering feel firm mode. So I'm actually going to go ahead and turn that on. It's through the settings icon in the lower right hand corner. You're going to go to driving, and then I'm just going to hit steering feel firm because that's going to give a heavier weight to the steering, which I'll be touching on later in the video. But anyways, now that I've got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find it straight away. Let's put this acceleration here to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2025 Volvo XC40 here up to speed. All right, found our straightaway here in 3, 2, 1, go! Dang. All right, Volvo, I got you. That's not bad. Yeah, plenty of acceleration emerging onto the highway. Cool thing about that turbocharged 4-cylinder is that there is a mild hybrid system component paired up to it, so there wasn't any kind of turbo lag or any kind of delay when I initially hit the gas. So definitely was a big fan of that, and that is definitely going to be enough of an acceleration emerging onto any highway. So well done, Volvo. Didn't mind that. But to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And so up front, you will find 13.6-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 11.9-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, that comes in at 120 feet, which is perfectly par for the course. Nothing wrong with that. As far as the braking feel goes, it's 100% on the firmer side of things. Now, I remember when I first drove the XC40 with this braking feel, I thought to myself, this is so weird. Like, I am not used to this style braking feel. It is really different than any of the other 1,000 vehicles that I've driven up to this point. It's really firm, like, and not like a sports car kind of firm. It's just a different kind of firm, but it's not a bad thing. That 120-foot number is quite a brilliant thing, quite honestly, because once you get into the 1-teens, you're in sports sedan territory. So really, there's nothing wrong with the braking. It just takes a little bit of getting used to when it comes to the braking feel itself. But after you're used to it, it's actually not that bad. So anyways, then touching on suspension and handling. Up front, you're going to get a McPherson strut front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension. As far as ride quality goes, in my short little test drive here today so far, it's actually been quite brilliant. Now, I will say, Hagerstown has a very, very smooth road, so perhaps that has something to do with it, but nonetheless, it's absorbing the road imperfections perfectly fine. So in my short little test drive here today, absolutely no issues there. Now, when it comes to steering feel, like I said, it kind of has something for everybody, which is a brilliant thing because not all SUVs give you this. So there is a steering feel firm mode, and what that does is it gives a much heavier weight to the steering, instantly pointing you in the direction that you want to go, which I 100% love. It's a great feel. It feels like a sports sedan when you have it in that mode. But then if you wanted a kind of more loosey-goosey steering feel, a more traditional SUV feel, you don't have to select that mode. And then you have that as well, which is pretty stinking cool. So like I said, you got something for everybody. As far as cabin noise goes, this is the perfect test. We're going 55 miles per hour right now. I'll let you guys be the judge through my Rode mic. Personally, I haven't had any issues here. I think it's a perfectly serene cabin. Really no wind noise, not a whole lot of road noise actually either coming into the cabin. So a very luxury-esque cabin, kind of serene cabin that we have in this one here today. Then touching our rear visibility, I actually can see perfectly fine. I can see that Ford Edge kind of right in my butt in my rear view mirror right now. So I think the rear visibility has been perfectly fine. Because of the shape of the XC40, you really shouldn't have any issues there. But in addition to that, when it comes to forward visibility, rain sensing windshield wipers actually do come standard on the XC40. So whenever this thing detects any kind of mist or rainfall, it's going to automatically turn on those windshield wipers for you. So kind of like automatic headlights, just that's one less thing you got to worry about. So that's pretty cool too. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2025 Volvo XC40. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2025 Volvo XC40 finished in sand dune. Yes, that is a new color for the 2025 model year. It actually replaces the bright dusk color from last year, in case you were curious, but I think it looks so cool. It's like a desert storm kind of color. Definitely looks nice. But let's go ahead and start with where this one is made, taking a look at the VIN. First character is the letter Y, indicating that the XC40 is built and assembled in Sweden, as it should be. You gotta love that. But starting up front, you will find either a bright or a dark theme, dependent upon the personal configuration that you go with. So we have the bright theme. Essentially, that's going to be a bunch of chrome accents as opposed to the gloss black accents that you would get with the dark theme, of course. To the sides, LED headlights with LED Thor's hammer daytime running lights do come standard. Get the automatic feature. You also get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night and it senses a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. And when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. So that's pretty cool. Did want to also mention there is pixel LED headlights. They go for $350. It's essentially 84 pixels of lighting and adjusts the angle of the low beams if it senses the car coming from the other direction. So that's kind of cool. I think that's probably the first time I've seen that was on the Volvo XC40 last year. So I don't know that any other manufacturers are doing that right now. Now there are adaptive front lighting systems, but they don't actually adjust to vehicles coming in the opposite direction, but rather your steering angle. So this is a little bit different than what I've seen, so that's kind of cool. And then down below, you will find LED fog lights that will come on the Plus and Ultra trim levels in case you wanted those. But definitely looks the same as last year, minus the color that we have on this one here today. But I like the look. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, but let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of the XC40, you're either going to find aluminum or gloss black roof rails, depending upon whether you go with the bright or the dark theme. Chrome or gloss black belt line molding, same thing there. Rear privacy glass does come standard. Taking a look at the side mirrors, they are body colored power adjustable side mirrors. They will be heated with LED integrated turn signals as well, and you gotta love that power folding feature to go along with all of that. So when you lock this one up, the mirrors are going to fold in. When you unlock it, they're going to fold back out. That's pretty stinking cool. Then take a look down at the wheel setup. I love these wheels. So it's going to differ slightly depending upon the trim that you go with, of course, but 18-inch double 5-spoke diamond cut alloys for the Core and Plus trim levels, and then 19-inch diamond cut alloys for the Ultra. So, and of course there are 20-inch designs available if you really wanted to personalize it, but very good look. That pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, and so now since we are around to the back of the XC40, all the way to the top, you will find a body-colored shark fin antenna. Just below that, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. Just below that, rear window wiper, of course. You will find Volvo lettering spelled out horizontally. It's definitely a very clean look. You got LED taillights for added illumination at night there. You're either going to get a silver or gloss black kind of rear bumper trim found at the very bottom portion of that rear bumper. Again, dependent upon whether you go with the bright or the dark theme. And then there are dual exhaust outlets. However, they are tucked away. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. All right, so now since we are around to the back of the XC40, when it comes to opening that rear lift gate, it is a power lift gate for all trim levels across the board, so you gotta love that. There is a button on the key fob, and there is of course a button on the lift gate itself then as well. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 20.7 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, there is a 60-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down, bumping that up to 57.5 cubic feet then. But quite honestly, there is a ton going on here in the cargo area. Of course, you got cargo lighting. There's a 12-volt power outlet though. There's plenty of grocery bag hooks, and I'll touch more on that in a second here. But you got a cargo cover back there. There's a very nice first aid kit back there as well. Then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you will find some in-floor storage, but you'll notice when you lift up that cargo floor, there's actually a slot where you can slot that in, and then you got 3 additional grocery bag hooks as well. You don't see that on any other SUV but the XC40. That is stinking cool. That's a lot of added utility right there. So if you're getting the grocery pickup orders, something like that, I love that. But then making our way up to the rear legroom, that comes in at 36.1 inches. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the back there. Rear center armrest with cup holders does come standard. You get rear ventilation back there as well. Dual phone charging ports also coming standard, and if you were to go with the climate package, you can also get heated rear seats for the rear passengers. You guys know I always love seeing that. But so then making our way up to the front seats, power adjustable driver's seat with power lumbar coming standard. Got memory settings for up to 2 different drivers, that also comes standard. Leather seating coming standard, but then there's a suede leather combination for the ultra trim level. Heated front seats also coming standard, and you gotta love that flag of Sweden found on the passenger seat there. That's one of those Easter eggs I always love seeing in every Volvo. Every Volvo has that, so that's sticking cool. But overall, as far as seat comfort goes, it was definitely perfectly fine in my short little test drive here today, so I didn't have any issues with the seating. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the steering wheel. It is leather wrapped, it is heated if you were to go with that climate package yet again. And by the way, the heated steering wheel button, that can be accessed through the center infotainment screen here. And again, we'll get more into that in a little bit. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key. You got your Volvo logo on the one side, but all of your buttons are on the side of the key. You got lock, unlock, and the button to pop the power lift gate there. But it is all keyless entry with a push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just by the driver's right knee. And so once started up, when it comes to the gauges, speedometer is all the way to your left, tachometer is on your right. There is a navigation setup that is displayed front and center. If we were to have turned that navigation on, we did not, so it's not located there, but otherwise it would be. So that is pretty stinking cool. It gives you the outside temperature, how many miles you have left until you hit empty. It's definitely a very nice looking digital gauge cluster. Wouldn't have minded a little more customization with the colors and the loadouts, but it definitely gets the job done nonetheless. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. A panoramic moonroof coming with the plus and the ultra trim levels. LED interior lighting coming standard. You do have a crystal gear selector by Orfor's for the plus trim level only, like we have today. I love that. I think that looks so stinking good. Universal garage door opener coming standard. That's for up to 3 different garage doors. Is found just below the frameless rear view mirror there. Aluminum interior accents coming with the ultra. Driftwood trim coming with our plus trim level. It's located on the doors just above the passenger side glove box, and it's a nice matte texturized driftwood trim, so that's pretty stinking cool. Just in front of the cup holders here, you will find a wireless phone charger that does come standard. Behind the cup holders, you have this nice removable trash bin. So if you got kids in the back and you're getting fast food and you're taking off the straw wrapper, perhaps you can put that in the removable trash bin, and then when you get home, just take out the trash bin, dump it in the trash, and put it back in. That is pretty stinking cool. I think most SUVs should have that, but literally the XC40 is the only one that does. So I absolutely love that. But like I said, you got the cup holders just to the right of the shifter. Nice gloss black finishes surrounding that. Electromechanical parking brake. Within the center armrest, you do have a decent amount of space, but another little Easter egg I wanted to tell you guys about. If you open up the glove box, there's actually a little grocery bag hook that is tucked away that you can pull out, and that's another little thing right there. So that's pretty stinking cool. You also have a pen holder in there too. You usually don't find that in the glove box. You find it within the center armrest. So I love it. So many Easter eggs in this thing. But Now let's go ahead and make our way to the infotainment screen here. You're going to find a vertical 9-inch color touchscreen display, Bluetooth and audio streaming coming standard, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, of course. All of your climate control settings, like I was saying, can be accessed at the very bottom portion of that infotainment screen. So that was definitely very easy to use, very convenient. If you've used a tablet or a smartphone before, this screen is going to be super easy for you to use. I'll just put it that way. Of course, you can check out your radio information up there as well. And so when it comes to the sound systems, there's a couple of them. You're either going to get 8 speakers and 250 watts or a 13 speaker Harman Kardon sound system. So 2 different options there. Now we do have the 8 speaker sound system with us here today. So what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and turn on the radio. Let's see what we got playing this morning, and let's test out the clarity of this one.
In my pride, every single day of darkness.
It's actually not that bad. That was a plenty amount of bass for just being the 8 speaker sound system. Clarity was fine as well. I will say the kind of funny thing about that sound system is I had it nearly turned up to the very max, and typically I can't even get that close. Usually it's like halfway and my ears are bleeding, but with that one you can almost turn it up to the max, and I don't know, it's just not as loud as some other sound systems. Let's just put it that way. But having said that, it was okay. It certainly gets the job done. You got the better Harman Kardon sound system if you wanted it. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on that infotainment screen is when you do put the XC40 in reverse, you will find an extremely high definition rear view camera coming standard across the board. 360-degree monitor button that's found right in the middle there that gives you that bird's eye view, letting you know what is completely all around you, which is always going to lead us into safety. And so to start, the XC40 is an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus, which is the very highest designation given by IIHS. So that pretty much says it all right there. Front side curtain airbags do come standard. You got a driver's knee airbag up front as well. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert, rear parking sensors, lane keep assist, lane departure warning, road sign recognition, and front and rear parking sensors. That last one typically doesn't come standard, so that's pretty stinking cool. But overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of the XC40, first off and foremost, best safety possible. You can't beat an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus. In typical Volvo fashion, they just absolutely always crush it with their safety. So next thing I want to mention though, I love all the Easter eggs and added utility that the XC40 gives you that most of the competitors do not. Like for example, you got the flag of Sweden. So I love the uniqueness of that. Since this vehicle is made in Sweden, they added that little touch. So always a big fan of that in any Volvo really. You got the grocery bag hook on the glove box. You have that fold up grocery bag hooks in the cargo area. You don't see that anywhere else. And you got the removable trash can too. Like so much utility with the XC40 that the competition doesn't give you. It's pretty stinking cool. Not to mention, you gotta love that crystal shifter. That's one of my favorite parts about this one. And now there are other manufacturers that give you the crystal shifter, but they don't give you the crystal shifter from Sweden by Orforce because the vehicle is made in Sweden. So that just makes it mean a little bit more to me personally. But as far as room for improvement goes, I think ambient lighting would look stinking cool in here. A lot of the competition, just about all of the competition, give you multicolor ambient lighting like BMW or Mercedes, for example. Would have loved to have seen that in Volvo. But really, quite honestly now, I think that's all I got for the XC40. This may very well be the best in class. So heck of a pick right here. Let me know what you guys think of that XC40 in the comment section below. That's about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media at the bottom of the screen if you want to see what's coming next on the channel. Before it gets to YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews, because that's what we do here in this channel after all. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know. I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold.